you should be asking yourself, why do we do this? Why do we factorize? And it's a pretty reasonable question. Do we just do this just to torture you? Well, that's one of the reasons. But this does actually have practical use. And we're going to do some examples. So these are fairly standard examples of quadratics that we've seen before. We'll solve them, but notice I've added a little thing here to both of them. I've made them equal to 0. Okay, let's just ignore it for now. Let's factorize this. So there's no number in front of the x, so we just want two numbers that multiply to give us -6 and add to give us +1. Remember, there's a 1 there. It's a wonky one, but there's still a 1 there. Okay, what are the factors of -6? Well, it's a negative number, so one of the factors is going to have to be negative. So there's -6, +1, +6, -1. Well, it's neither of those. There is -3, +2, so we're getting close, I think. And there's 3 and -2. So -6 plus 1, it's not that. That equals -5. 6 minus 1 is +5. It's not that. -3 plus 2 is -1. So we're getting close, but no cigar. 3 minus 2 is 1. That's the combination that we're looking for. These are the drones that you're looking for. Okay, so we're going to say that this is equal to x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. I'm just going to leave that for now. Now I'm going to come over here. So this is a slightly more complicated, but not really complicated version. 2 and -3, so it's -6. So we are looking for two factors that multiply to give us -6 and add to give us +1. Well, we've already done that right there. Okay, well, let's rewrite this. So 2x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 3 equals 0. And now we're going to factorize it in part. Let's factorize the first half. So is there anything these two have in common? Well, they have a common factor of 2x. If we have the x, 2x times what is 2x squared, or what's x? 2x times what equals minus 2x? Well, it's -1. And I'm going to set that equal to 0. Okay, do these things have anything in common? Well, yeah, they have a 3 in common. And it's going to be x minus 1. These are the same. Cool. So we're going to rewrite this. We're going to combine the things which are outside the brackets. And there should be a plus there. And we're going to set that equal to 0. Okay. So, what if I said we can now solve for x? What does that mean? So we want to find some value of x here. X equals some number. Can we do it? We can do it now because it's equal to 0. But notice something here. If we have two things multiplied together, because when we put them in brackets it means everything in that bracket times everything in that bracket equals 0. So we have two things and we multiply them together and the product is 0. There are only three ways that can be true. Either this equals 0, or this one equals 0, or both of them equal 0. And it's the same thing here. So it's everything in this bracket times everything in this bracket equals 0. So either everything in this bracket equals 0, or everything in this bracket equals 0, or both. And I'm going to set both of them equal to 0 and solve it. And we've already done that. So I'm going to put the first bracket, I'm going to set it equal to 0 and solve for x. Well, I'm going to take 3 away from both sides. So x equals -3. And then I'm going to do it again for the second bracket. X minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So x is equal to 2. So there are two answers there. And we could say x equals -3 and 2. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. So now I've got 2x plus 3 equals 0. So I'm going to take 3 away from both sides. 2x equals -3. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So x equals -1.5. That's one of the answers. And now we have the other bracket here. Just going to bring this down there. X minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to balance it out. Remember we did this. And x equals 1. So in this case, this is true if, and only if, x equals -1.5 and or 1. So does that have any use? Well, yeah, it does. So here I've got x squared, come up. So here I've got x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0, and I'm going to graph it. And notice the answers that we got. The answers that we got were, correct one, -3, +2. And here we have an answer at -3 and +2. This is the x-axis, remember. Interesting. Okay. For the 2x minus x, let's close that down. What answers did we get? Well, we got -1.5 and +1. And sure enough, -1.5 and 1. Coincidence? No. This does have practical applications. If we look, for example, at something like this, this might not look like a graph, but when we put reference height and grid lines on it, it's starting to look remarkably like a graph. And also, if we fire our cannon off, this looks remarkably like a parabola that we created with the quadratic equations here. Just something to note.